What's up, people? This is Matt with Let's Talk Music. I'm here with Dan with Falling Through April. Dan, where are you joining us from tonight, buddy?
I'm in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, you lucky sucker.
Yeah, it's a little bit warmer here than it is up in Ohio.
Yeah, it's sick. I woke up this morning, it was 23 degrees. So,
Ooh,
yeah. So,
yeah.
I read that, you guys call Charlotte home, but you're from all over. So, your hometown is Tampa?
No, my hometown's actually Baltimore, Maryland, but we all lived in Charlotte for a long time, and just recently, a couple of us have actually relocated to Tampa.
Mm,
So just as recent as June of this year. So it's only been a couple of months.
okay. So, how's the weather down there, man? Because that's actually where I'm wanting to move to.
It's nice. It's 73 degrees right now.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
We had a cold front yesterday, and it got all the way down to a bitter 55 degrees.
Oh man, you guys, poor thing. So you guys just came off tour, the World's Away tour,
Yep.
but without you was out with Hazen, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and tell me a little bit about that, man. I mean, how'd it go? Everything go like without a hitch?
Yeah. Well, no tour is a tour if it goes without a hitch. Um, so yeah, the tour was great. We hit some markets that unfortunately we've been neglecting for a little while, and then we had planned this tour a couple of years ago with Hazen, and then COVID hit and shut everything down. So kind of derailed our plans. I was happy that we were able to get back, together with Hazen and still make it work. But yeah, they had some trailer issues on the way to the very first show in New Orleans, and so they missed that show. And then we had some trailer problems of our own, and so it happens. It's part of being on the road, and when you drive that many, I think we did like 6,700 miles or something like throughout the whole tour. So to go that long without having any vehicle or trailer problems at all is unheard of.
That's awesome. But yeah, I seen you guys played in Akron. I think that's the closest you got to Columbus.
Yep. Yeah. We stopped off at the Hall of Fame up there, on the way through from Indiana, and
Mhm.
then yeah, shot down. We played the Vortex in Akron.
Okay. Now you know who Tim the Ripper Owens is, right?
Yep.
Yep, and he's got a bar up there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's out of Akron, Ohio, and has a bar up there. I don't know if I believe he still owns it. I know that he's out doing some stuff. He's playing with KK Downing now from Priest.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I know that he's got a bar up there. I just can't remember what it's called. It's hell, it's I think it's Ripper or something. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of venues in Ohio, man. I mean, you guys hit the granddaddy of them all just coming through though, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, I've never even been
Yep.
there. Want to go really bad. Just I guess I've never made the time to go, but it's definitely that's my cup of tea, man. Is just going seeing all that memorabilia and stuff. So and then I mean, you got the Algora up there, and then you got a couple places in Akron, some good places here in Columbus, Dayton, Cincinnati. I mean, all around, Ohio is a pretty good state for rock and roll. Period. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Every time we've been through Ohio, we've done a couple. We did Cincinnati, we've done Cleveland, Akron now, obviously. So we've done a good bit around Ohio, and it's always been good to us.
yeah, I mean, it's like I say to a lot of people, you think of it being Midwest and, kind of wouldn't be much rock and roll, it'd be more country. But I mean, Columbus is a metal town. I mean, and you
Hmm.
guys are more of a rock alternative, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, which I mean, I listened to Paralyzed, which I thought was a great song.
Thank
Uh,
you.
and then also the Worlds Apart or Worlds Away.
Hmm.
So your singer, her name wouldn't have to be April, would it?
No, Michaela.
Okay. Because see, in my press release, I don't have anybody's name, and I'm like, holy shit, I don't have anybody's name. So,
Yeah,
how,
Michaela. Sorry, Michaela is the singer. So I'm Dan, one of the guitar players. Jim is the other guitar player, and then Jerome is our drummer.
okay. So how did you guys form? I mean, it says like you guys for all from all over again, and then you based your home out of Charlotte. So I mean, how did you all just come together?
Yeah, when I first moved to Charlotte, so again, I moved from Baltimore, Maryland, and I thought, leaving one big city, and I thought Charlotte was another big city. So I was like, the music scene in Baltimore is amazing, and I was ready to just jump right back into the local music scene down in Charlotte, and it was like nothing but like super like death metal or like hardcore hip hop. And
Hmm.
so the music scene was not very diverse. It was very specific. And, it took a little while, about a year or so, before I finally started to find other musicians to click with. And then, ironically enough, none of them were from Charlotte. Um, I joined the band. I was the last edition of the original lineup. We used to have a male singer named Corey. And so Corey and Dave founded the band. They were in another band together previously. And, things were just kind of falling apart. Their birthdays are in April. So they just wanted to do a play on words. The bands also happened to be falling apart in April. So it was like, falling like against April, falling from April. So that's where falling through April comes from. Um, and I answered. It's kind of funny. I put a Craigslist ad up. Just I was desperate to find musicians, so I put a Craigslist ad up, and I saw a Craigslist ad. I answered the Craigslist ad that Jim put up for Falling Through April. Didn't say the band name or anything, and then Corey responded to my ad looking for a band because I was a lonely guitar player. So we both responded to each other's Craigslist ads, and that's how I ended up joining the band.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so kind of unique story, but I guess it was meant to be. And over time we had a couple of lineup changes. We had the original lineup for a while, and then we had another male singer named Matt, and we did a couple of big tours and festivals with him. And then after Matt, we were like, why don't we do something just completely different? And our producer at the time, John King, he found Michaela on YouTube, and he was like, I think I might have the right singer for you guys, and the rest is history. Michaela's been with us ever since.
Yeah. I mean, she's got an awesome voice. You know, I think really that's what hooked me at first. And then I started listening to, excuse me, the music, and it was it's very addictive. Put it that way. I mean, it caught me, and that's why I was like, okay, I'm gonna check out. I've got the press release with this song. Then I went to Paralyzed, and I mean, I was getting ready to move through some more, and I realized, okay, well, I got 10 minutes before this starts. So, but
Yeah,
I know
thank
that
you.
it's been a bit of a pain in the butt for us to coordinate because you guys were just recording recently, weren't you?
Yeah, and we're going back into the studio first week of January. So, no rest for the wicked. We stay busy. We try to keep ourselves as active as possible. And yeah, we got a couple more songs we want to release. We're going back into the studio. We've got big announcement coming up after right after Thanksgiving for big show we're gonna hop on here in Tampa. Another run, another little tour run we're gonna do. So lots of good stuff coming.
Awesome. Where do you guys record at?
So our current producer is Kyle Odell. He was in Greensboro, North Carolina, and that's how we met him because it's like an hour and a half from Charlotte. But he's relocated now to Nashville, so that's we're going back to Nashville.
Okay. Yeah, that's one hell of a place to record. I mean, there's got to be recording studios every other building down through there.
Yeah,
So, I mean, also I read that you guys have like have a significant touring resume with bands like Theory of a Dead Man, The Pretty Reckless, Pop Evil, Adelaide's Way, Breaking Benjamin. I actually did an interview with Rick DeJesus from Adelaide's Way. Cool ass dudes. Um,
love Rick.
and then oh my god, oh the one guitar player from Breaking Benjamin. I'm gonna punch myself.
Keith,
Yes, Keith Wallen. I
Keith
was about
Wallen. Yep.
I was about to hit myself because I couldn't remember it. I was like, I was so excited about that. He's out doing his own thing with Red. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been fun, man. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy meeting people from different areas and stuff and different genres of music. I think I've done one hip hop, which I'm not against, but rock is my forte. So
Yep.
and alternative. And I mean, I grew up I was born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s and 90s. So I went from hair metal to alternative to, emo to what we got here now, the metalcore. So, but I mean, you guys got a hell of a sound, man. I mean, I can understand why you've been on, tour with some pretty big bands there. Now you're talking about something that's going to be happening soon here in Tampa. You're going to announce that after Thanksgiving. Is that going to be on a website or through social media? How's that going to be announced?
Yeah, we always so just for the sake of the website traffic, we always announce everything on our official website first, followingthroughapril.com.
Hmm.
And then we trickle that down to all the different social media platforms. I mean, we're on everything. Twitter, Band FTA, Instagram is Falling Through April Official, Facebook is Falling Through April. We've recently started up a TikTok on that on the Hazen tour. So we started the TikTok and then it became more of just watching the videos. And then on that tour, we started actually posting videos. So we're gonna try to do some more exclusive content over there as well. But yeah, we're on all the things.
Oh yeah. So, you're going to announce this. So obviously there's a plan between now and the beginning of the year, but like, and you said you're getting ready to go back into the studio. What do you guys foresee 2023 being like for Falling Through April?
I mean, we just want to keep things moving, especially after all the lockdown from COVID. Like that was such a disappointing and disheartening time frame. Venues closing down, bands breaking up. I mean, it was tough, and just trying to stay motivated through all of that. We ended up recording like music videos in somebody's house, and we had to like test the crew and test ourselves, and it was just a big hassle. It was a lot of stuff going on. So feeling like we can now get back out there and start touring again, it's like it feels a little bit like a little kid on Christmas morning. You just want to get out there and like hurry up and do as much as you possibly can. So 2023, I mean, we have big plans. We want to keep grinding. We've always been known to be a band that, hits the road and we work hard. We've always worked hard. So we just want to keep grinding, just keep getting out there as much as possible, meet as many people and make as many new fans as possible.
Oh yeah. What about festivals? Have you guys
Yeah, there's a couple festivals on the horizon. Um, I know. So we have a booking agent. His name's James from Blind Anxiety Entertainment, and James has been working hard to try to get us on a couple of big festivals. We did a big festival last year. We did main stage at Rockfest out in Cadott, Wisconsin. I would
Mhm.
love to go back. We were lucky enough that we got selected to play the main stage to open the whole festival, and it was an unreal experience. So I hope that we get to do another Rock Fest. I mean, amazing experience. There's a bunch of big festivals that I know that James has submitted us for, and there's been some feedback on. So hopefully we can lock those in and announce those as soon as possible.
Yeah, we just had it announced a couple weeks ago, I think, that Rock on the Range Sonic Temple is coming back
Yep.
in 2023. So super stoked about that, man. That's I mean, I remember going when it wasn't when it first started, but a couple years into it after they turned it to 3 days. And I mean, honestly, people were like, "Oh my God, those tickets are so expensive and stuff." And I'm like, "You're getting like 70 bands, for
Yeah.
3 days of music. It's they're not going to do it for a $40 ticket. I
And the
mean,
caliber of bands that you get to see. I mean, everybody under one roof like that. I mean, some of those bands would charge that price just for their show, let alone all of those bands on that bill.
right. And I mean, it's really cool because it's like you was talking about the main stage. There's three different stages. They got a comedy tent. I mean, they've had Dave Chappelle there. They've had Pauly Shore. You know, it's a hell of a festival. And they did Sonic Temple 1 year, and then bam, COVID hit and screwed it all up. So,
Yeah.
and I feel you where you're coming from with that, man. I mean, COVID. So many people that I've talked to, I mean, you either made it through it or you didn't.
Hmm.
And guys were like, man, it was really tough, but thanks to modern technology, we was able to send tracks to each other and do this and that. So, I mean, I guess, the negative was nobody could go see a show, nobody could play a show. The positives to it was that, bands were able to sit down and write, music. And I feel like, they had the time to actually sit down and do it instead of trying to rush through it and get it out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And a lot of great singles, a lot of great music has been made during that, period. It was kind of like, one of them periods back in the 70s, where everybody was just in their houses doing the deed, to a certain song, and like, a baby boom happened,
Hmm.
So it was really cool that, I mean, a lot of these guys that I talk to, that you get into it with them with the COVID thing, and they're like, well, man, it kind of shit on us and this and that, but it's got a positive side to it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I mean, that's, I think that for you, you're not under a label, correct?
Not anymore.
Okay, so for DIY bands like yourself, or independents, um, I feel like being able to take that time and you know really focus on what you guys want to put down is way better than being under the label and getting having to put it out fast, or like, oh my god, we got to get in the single out. you know
Yep.
it does, it makes a big difference. So I mean, in a lot of ways it was a positive.
Yeah, I mean, if you could look at anything and say, this was negative, but you always have to find kind of that silver lining. And I mean, really for us, it did allow us the opportunity to focus on things like writing and also, releasing content in a more, I guess, well thought out way, right? Something that was we didn't just release just anything, like just because it gave us the time to kind of sit down and focus. You're absolutely right about that. And then I think the biggest takeaway for us is, you have to appreciate what you have. And I think a lot of these venues that are out there that, they've always given bands the opportunity, giving them the chance. I think a lot of bands took that for granted.
Hmm.
So opening back up and sort of having like, it's like taking away what we had, and then really like appreciating that and doing a better job with promoting and bringing people out, bringing people together, the fans too, like we there was a very big difference in, this is the first tour we've done post COVID. There's a
Hmm.
very big difference in the way that it was all handled. I mean, from a promotion perspective, the venue perspective, the way that shows were booked, bands were booked. I mean, everything was very different. But the one thing I'll say that was consistent is that everybody that came out, like I heard this phrase, if not every single night on that tour, I'd say at least, maybe like one or two missed it. But I kept hearing, I'm just so thankful that we get to go out to, see live music again.
Hmm. Yeah, and that was one of the things that was said here on a local radio station. They was talking about how they're getting ready to open up venues again. You got to be vaccinated, you got to have a mask, you got to do this, you got to do that. And the radio was like, listen, people, you know, people need live music. People need to get into that area and connect again. And the bands need to connect with the audience again. So, please be respectful to the rules and regulations so that, this can continue and it doesn't get shut down.
Yep.
And, I mean, people were on it, dude. I mean, it's kind of funny because, like, a lot of things, when it's a group of people like that, and it's a rowdiness and whatever, you can't get them to listen, a lot of times. But when it comes to music like that, I mean, what people, they did what they were supposed to do. Nobody tried to be stupid. And I mean, it never got shut down after they opened back up. And I was just like, man, that's great. I mean, I don't think that a lot of people realize the power of music.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does so much in so many ways. I mean, and to bring people together like that after being stuck in your homes and not being able to do anything, and people were just like, it was almost like a drug, like they was geeking for it, and it's like,
Yeah.
you get them in there, and everybody's just like, oh man, this is so great, let's keep our social distance, let's keep our masks on. I mean, yeah, it's miserable being in a crowd with a mask on, but you want the show to go on, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah. I mean, if that's what it takes, you just got to do what you got to do and make sure that, like you said, the show goes on. it's more important, for people to be able to get out and have that social interaction. If it takes a couple of little steps to make that possible, let's all just do our part and just make it possible. You know what I mean? People don't have to like it. I know there's a lot of people. I mean, I didn't like it. I don't like the thought of having to wear a mask and it's hot. And you're in a group of people but at the same time, it's like if that's what it takes in order for the venue to stay open, then I'll do my part.
Oh yeah. So Dan, just one more question for you.
Yeah.
You said, you're the guitar player. So what was it that got you into music? What was it that made you pick up a guitar and just decide, hey, this is what I'm gonna do?
So the one thing I'll say about everybody in this band is we share a very similar backstory when it comes to what inspired us, and it all of us at a very young age, and all of us come from relatively musical families. So for me, my grandfather was a guitarist in South America in Paraguay, and he was actually a popular musician. He was on the radio down there, and he had a pretty lucrative career. I have a I guess a great uncle or great cousin or something like that. That's also a popular musician in South America. So growing up, my dad always picked up a guitar, and he was never really big into it, but he just kind of played around the house, and so I always kind of grew up listening to him play guitar. And I have older siblings that introduced me to bands like Metallica and Megadeth, and like those kind of bands, The
Mhm.
Offspring, Nirvana. I mean, so many different sounds and different levels of talent, but I will never forget hearing Metallica. I was like 6 years old and playing air guitar in the kitchen with my brother, and I just remember thinking like, wow, like this is, I've never heard a guitar sound like that before, and I want to be able to play guitar like that. And that was, I think, the real big jumping off point for me was hearing Metallica write and thrash songs like that, and I picked up a guitar and I never put one down.
Awesome. So, and that's kind of the backstory for everybody, huh?
Yeah, Michaela was in a musical family. She used to play bass. Her dad was a singer. They had like a little family band going on. She used to play bass for her dad's band in Mexico, and they lived there for a little while. She's from California, but they lived there for a little while. And Jim's dad plays piano. Jerome's dad, and actually, we learned this when we were in Omaha, Nebraska. He's got family out there, and someone I unfortunately, I apologize. I don't remember exactly who it was, but somebody from his family is actually up on the wall in one of the restaurants there. They dedicated like a whole wall to him for his music and all that kind of stuff. Jerome's dad's a really good saxophone player, so we just all grew up in very musical families and just surrounded by music lovers.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for better than that. I mean, it's very rare that I hear when I ask that question, somebody say, well, man, I just went to a pawn shop, picked up a guitar and started playing. I was the next Eddie Van Halen. It's typically somebody has introduced them in some way, or family members or whatever, usually brothers, fathers. I mean, it's something that I wish I would have had when I was younger. I mean, I didn't really get in. I mean, I've always been into music, like listening to it and stuff, and talking about it and whatever. But I mean, I tried to play guitar, I think when I was maybe 13 or 14. My mom bought me one for my birthday, and I had a buddy that was still learning, and he was getting frustrated with me teaching me. So it didn't last, and it's something that I kind of would like to try and pick up again, because there's, I mean, so much content on YouTube that you can learn from that. And, okay, whoops, I missed that. Pause it, go back a little bit. You don't have somebody like,
Yeah,
oh my God, dude, just get it. So,
it's never too late. Jim always says that like if you ask him that question about like what inspired you guys to be musicians, he always, it's great. He always says, like we didn't choose music, music chose us. And I couldn't agree with that statement more. I mean, I feel like this was always my destiny from the time I was a kid. I definitely feel like music chose me.
yeah, yeah, that I like that too. That's a good saying. I mean, it's I've actually heard other people say that. So I mean, it must be true, because you got several people saying one thing. So But all right, Dan, I will let you get back to what you were doing. I appreciate your time this evening, and I will look forward to the announcement. And you say that is the day after Thanksgiving?
It's supposed to be next week, so I don't know which day, but someday next week we'll make the announcement.
All right. Well, you enjoy that Florida weather, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being on.
All right, take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.